Working hard to make changes. Ain't nobody got time for racism. So let me tell you what the plan is. Go touch the souls of every human.
Yeah.
Which I experienced some of that. My bullying was I had a guy bully, a boy bully.
We got drama, we got pain, we got envy, we got love. Whatever you're going through, we encapsulate it like a drug. Send it back in the form of love like it's gifted from God above. Merging ideas and working together fit like a glove. Yeah, I'm working for God above.
I had a guy bully, a boy bully. And he was so mean to me, you know, and it was actually more physical, which was interesting. You know, and I haven't really spoken about this much, and I do plan on doing it, a video on it, but it's just, it goes to show like what he experienced in his home and how he thought it was okay to do that to girls in school, and everyone was afraid of him, so no one would say anything. So it was a really weird situation. And then I had a girl bully who was so instilled so much fear in us because she came from a very difficult part of town. And we were like these like goody two shoes, like, here we go, walking through our school. And she's like, I'm gonna, so like, it was just like, you know, a new influx of a different element in our school system that we weren't used to, because I grew up in this little tiny, like 1 square mile town where like we all grew up, you know, like hunky-dory, like, you know, roasting marshmallows, and then all of a sudden we were hit with like this different element. And so point is that I think, and I speak to this a lot in some of my lives, you know, on YouTube and in Instagram, because I think so many of us experience bullying, and it comes in so many different ways, and the way that it has molded us. I mean, because I was called fat and ugly, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna be an actress, like, you know.
No, it builds you, you know. That's why we never really, like, we look back at those moments, and as much as we would have loved in that moment, we would have loved for them to stop, you know, we look back at them right now and we're like, that made us who we really are. And you know, it gave us that compassion to other people at the same time, because you know, you never want to put someone else for what you were put in, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's like perfectly said, Carlos. And it's true. I mean, I can definitely relate to that. And who would have thunk it, you know, that many years ago, when you're going through it and you're like, really? Like, how come I'm getting picked on? How come I'm the one that's bullied? And then, you know, fast forward and you see the threads and you see how it all kind of, you know, had
The connections.
And it's just a wild thing that you could see going back, like looking back, not at the time. So for anybody who has experienced bullying, or perhaps will experience bullying, because sometimes you're not bullied and then you become bullied, you know, it's like, just know that like there's so many of us that, you know, we've used it to like propel us forward instead of letting us stop us. So I think Carlos's story, as beautifully as he shared it, is really, you know, impactful for anybody who's experiencing that right now. So
it's of course. No, I think what you're saying is absolutely beautiful and right. I think, you know, you got to make sure that not only those moments don't bring you down, but at the same time, like you said, you know, in life you're always going to have bullies. They're never going to, you know, a lot of times they're going to grow up, and it's not going to be the high school bully anymore, but it can be your boss. It could be your, you know, the casting director that's casting. It could be your cast member. It could be anybody out there that is, you know, trying to come back. And I think for me, the thing that allowed me to really fight back emotionally and, you know, subconsciously, whatever was going on with people that were not okay with me, was reminding myself that I wasn't doing anything wrong. You know, it's constantly telling yourself you're not doing anything wrong, and like really talking to your inner person. I believe in the inner child a lot. So like talking to that person and telling them, hey, it's safe. You're safe here, and you're not doing anything wrong. This is just temporary. They'll move forward and you will too. And that also builds that strength that you were talking about, because it builds the strength to like really stay truth to yourself, because it's worth it. And I tell this to everybody that like asks me about the brand and about like, hey, how can I do this career? How I want to be an actor, you know, but I get bullied, or like I want to do this. I really tell everybody that you have to be able to talk to your younger, like to know that everything is temporary. You got to be able to know that nothing is forever. And at the same time, you got to be able to stay true to yourself. And I tell that to every single person I talk to. Like, if you believe in something, if you like something, it doesn't matter. Nobody else likes it. It's gonna pay off at some point. It pays off. It paid off for me, and it's always gonna pay if you stay true to yourself, disregarding how many people don't like it. It's always gonna go back to the end of you really making profit of it. You know, you're gonna feel happy with yourself. Like, I cannot tell how many times I'm so happy to walk into my room that it's full of so many things that I love. And if I would have listened to all the people that told me, you need to grow up, you need to not be that, you need to stop doing that, I wouldn't have any of these things here. And I would have made them happy. But this is people that I don't talk to anymore, that are never with me. So, like, if you really stick to the things that make you happy, it all pays off at the end. It's absolutely true.
I love that you said that, because so many of us, you know, perhaps buy into that, that like, okay, what's cool right now? I got to do what the cool people are doing.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's like a means of survival sometimes, and you don't have anything you gravitate towards naturally. Like, for me, for instance, I had a different sense in that, you know, I wasn't very talented at anything growing up. Like, I just
stop it! I bet you were. I bet you were so talented. You just didn't see that in yourself. But I bet you were.
No, like, I was not a sports person. Like, no one would pick me to be on their teams. I was not, like, I didn't get into gaming. I couldn't do like what other girls were doing. Like, I tried cheerleading. I was the worst freaking cheerleader. Like, I was so bad.
Oh no.
I was so bad at it. But I tried everything. I tried basketball, softball, soccer. I mean, I tried everything, violin, karate. I mean, I've done so many things, and I've not been good at any of them. It's really, it's so funny.
Did you try acting?
I tried acting ultimately.
And you are good at it. So there you go. So
Carlos,
there's something that you're good at. So there's something that you're good at, and you just so the same way that you didn't know you were good at acting, you might have been the best at volleyball, and you didn't know that.
Oh, believe me, I could tell I was not good. I tried volleyball too. The point is that, you keep trying different things, and you don't know when, for me, acting was an adult thing. I was already an actor. I wanted to be an actor as a child, coming from Latin parents. They're like, oh, no. No.
No acting. Yeah.
And so, of course, we are the good, want to be like respectful children, Latin family, or else you feel it in other ways. And I was like,
I know. You were like, no, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm sorry.
Ultimately, I did. After I did what they wanted me to do, I quit everything, and I left New York. I drove to Miami. I'm like, I'm gonna become a dancer, and I was an adult. I was an adult. Like, usually a dancer starts like in their little tutus when they're 3 years old. I was full-fledged adult, y'all, when I started dancing. And my mom's like, what kind of dancing are you doing? Where are you going?
What do you dance? Wait, what? You're a dancer too? Why haven't I seen any of that?
Because I've been in LA now 12 years, dude. So, like, that's a past of mine. But in Miami, I did, like, music videos, like, Oye Mi Canto, do you know? Boricua.
Are those still up? I need to see the dancing, Jovanna. Yeah. I need to see that. That's such a fun. I guess that was a lot of fun.
A samba dancer. I'm not even Brazilian, and I became a samba dancer.
I'm gonna make you pull out clips so that I can put them over this.
Yes, we need to see. We need to see you dancing samba. Are you kidding me? That's brand new.
Yeah. So that's so to your point, you just got to keep figuring things out, and not be afraid to, like, look down one way and, oh, okay, that doesn't work for me, go somewhere else. I mean, in our acting journeys, we've had to do that in so many different ways.
I think you have to be okay with who you are, because I know a lot of people that fit my brand but are not okay with it. They're like, well, I don't want to play the nerdy character or the sitcom dude. I want to be the you know, the main bad villain. And you know, it's like, okay, go for it, you know, but like, let's be honest, Hollywood and everything here works towards, you know, there's a lot of types, and there's a lot of like, no matter how good of an actor you are, if you're not matching what they're looking for, you know, it's not on you. And that's what I mean. A lot of stress comes from that. A lot of stress in this business comes from you not knowing who you are inside and who you can play. So, you know, I'm lucky enough to love everything about the characters I get picked on. And I absolutely know when I get an audition, I absolutely know what I'm gonna read for. I'm like, yeah, it's probably something like that. Like, it's probably the neighbor that is in love but gets friend zoned by the main character, huh? And then, but I do read it, and I'm having a blast with it because the comedy is there, you know, my character. So like, it's just, it fits on. And I think that's part of what you're saying. It's, you gotta explore what you like, who you are, until you find it, and then people will be able to see it too. Because if you know who you are and you go to auditions like that, knowing what you can sell, they can tell right away. If they, the way you're dressed, the way you're speaking, the way you present yourself, they can tell, and they're like, yeah, this is you. You know, this is you. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean, you're
think,
so
yeah,
lucky that you identified that so quickly in your journey here, because you've only been here
yeah,
technically since 2014, which is not that long of a
yeah.
time. 1 year doesn't count. 1 year and a half.
2020 did not count. I'm
It's not.
younger.
But seriously, you've been able to like do so much in a fairly short amount of time for, Hollywood's, purposes. Like
Yeah,
usually it's like a 20-year thing, a 10-year thing, not always, but that's the acceptance you have around
I
this
know.
world that you're
You
like,
you're like literally saying facts. I mean, you're that thing about 10 years, 20 years, that's the period of time that you should be expecting to, you know, for something to grow on you. And I think that goes for every career, honestly. I think, you
yeah,
know, you got to give yourself a time of, like, you know, a length of time of 10 years for you to really know the business, know who you are as a person, know the context. Because like everything else in life, if you have the context, you have the job. And this is just, you know, it's part of it. But know that marketing, know the whole business side of it. Because a lot of people are like, I want to be an actor. And they think they can just like be like, oh, okay, I want to be an actor. So I'll just, you know, how do I get in there? It's like, no, you have to do research. You have to find a technique that works for you. You have to find what type of acting you want to do. You got to find out what works for you. You got to find out who you are as an actor. You got to find your characters. You got to find everything. And then after all of that research, you got to find how to deal with the script, how to deal with the other actors around you. You got to deal how to deal. You got to find out how to deal with the environment. And then after all of that, if you're in theater, you got to learn how to not look at the audience, how to not. So, you know, it's a lot of research that you really got to put yourself into.
I'm so glad you're saying that because I did another video about that, because so many people were asking me like, oh, how do you get into acting? I want to be an actor. I want to be on Dhar Mann. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
guys, first of all, there are certain things you need
yeah,
in place before anybody really takes you seriously. And that's what you
yeah,
want to be seen as, a serious
yeah,
actor, professional actor. Not that you're not funny, but you want
yeah,
to be seen as a professional.
yeah.
There's so many things that go into it. I mean, you
Mhm.
just scratched the surface,
Oh
literally.
yeah, yeah,
Literally, the level of detail that we need to like unsurface, like,
yeah,
unwrap, it's like Pandora's
definitely.
box. It's never ending. You never stop
No,
learning. You gotta keep learning. You gotta keep, and I'm always very honest and transparent with anybody who asks me that. I'm like, I'm perfectly happy to guide you in the right direction.
yeah,
However, it's not just, okay, I'm gonna pop on set and say these words. It's like
yeah.
there's so much, and even just saying the words, there's so much you got to put into that. Like it's no joke. And we
It's
love
not.
it. And people,
Yeah.
are like, oh, I can do it. And it's like, yeah, anybody can do it. But
Mhm.
will you do what it needs to get it done?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. I think for me, it really did. Like, this is something I would have loved to listen back at the time. Because, you know, I had to go through the whole reality check. Because I came here with those same dreams. I came to LA with the, okay, I want to be an actor. How do I get into Hollywood? What's up? How do I do this? Like, you know, am I supposed to, like, you know, be funny? What do I do? Because, you know, people laugh at me. So what's up? Like that was literally my whole. I literally joined like when I went into NIFA to my first acting class. I was like, "Hey guys, I have an accent, so what's my deal? What do I do here?" And so people were like, really. I had to wake up, and that's what I mean. Like I would have loved for someone to tell me these things, to tell me you gotta love this career. It's not just it's beautiful. Those dreams, keep them alive, like but know that it's going to be work, and that it's not going to be an experience that it's always just going to be completely good for you. You're going to explore your emotions, and by exploring your emotions, you're exploring things that you were okay with and things that you were not okay with at the same time. Like you're really going to know who you are as a person, so you got to do your research towards that as well. So all these acting techniques and all of that, it's part of it. So this is something I would have loved for someone to tell me when I told them I want to be an actor, because that would have not changed my mind. Like you're saying, I mean, if you really do want to be an actor, this is not going to stop you knowing that there's some stuff that need to be done. No, it's more like, yeah, I can do all of that, and thank you for letting me know what I can do. Like you're saying, I point them in the right direction. So everybody that comes to me and is like, how do I get into acting? I tell them, do your research, study. Like, what's up, what schools are around me, acting school, learn the process, I'm not a teacher, so I cannot really show you what's really there, but I can tell you that that's the best thing to do at the beginning.
And not every teacher is for every person. You got to find your teacher, because there are some teachers that can do more harm than good. And we've all probably experienced that as well. And it's hit or miss. It's trial by error. It's the sort of thing that, you got to be consistent and persistent, because if you are like, oh, I tried it, and you did 2 auditions, let's say, if you're lucky enough to get to that point, because some people don't even get to that point. They said, no, I'm going to stop. It's like, oh, good. Stop now, unless you toughen up, because you're going to get those multiple times a day.
And no, definitely. It's like one of my favorite actors, Andrew Scott, once said, 1,000 no's will lead to a 1 yes, and I think that literally marks the journey. I think it's up to you trying things out. It's up to you knowing that a lot of auditions are not going to go your way, not because you're bad at it, but because, there's so many things in play. You matching, this is like, a lot of people don't know this, but if you don't match the height of the other actor you're reading with, you're not going to get the role. If you don't match what they have in mind for the scenes, it doesn't matter how much of a good actor you are, you won't get the role. So there's all these other technical stuff that goes in it,
As well, if you match them too much, you won't get it.
You won't get it. If you are that's right. If you're overshadowing the main actor, then it's like, no, we don't really need that.
2 chicks with long brown hair. No, you need a blonde. You need a African American. You need an Asian American. You need everything now. You need to mix it up. But if it's 2 little Latinas who look alike, only one of you, chances are going to get it.
It's
so
gonna get
it. Can't look too much alike either. So it's like a matchy match, but no match too much.
Yeah, exactly. No, and this is where like knowing your brand comes in play, because if you do that, you're good. It's like you're set.
I interrupt this streaming program. I'm gonna have to sell this as like an acting masterclass. This is like a course. I have so much. It's so good. I just want to make sure you guys are okay on time. And
oh my gosh, okay. I didn't even look at the time. That's why we love what we do. Oh my gosh, I didn't even look
listening.
at
I feel like I'm in a podcast. I'm like, I'm taking it. Okay, you guys are killing it. All right. So,
and look at all the questions I have.
I'm gonna have to have back to acting master courses. And your stories, guys. I wanted to come in so many times. I'm just over here like clapping and like it's so good. So thank you. Keep going.
Oh my gosh, Carlos, I mean, obviously we can like talk. I mean, obviously you've given me goosebumps, you've given me insight, you've given me like things to think about, and I love it all. And I'm so grateful and appreciative that we've had this opportunity to like chat.
Same.
But like, I feel like we haven't even touched on like what people know you for. How funny is that we've been talking for so long and like we haven't even talked Dhar Mann, yo.
Yeah, it's like we got to who we really are.
Judy. And I'm the good guy.
So you see, we viral.